Alright folks, welcome back to the channel, welcome back to the vlog. I know this doesn't look familiar, but I am in a familiar place. We're back at EFI Specialties, and what we're about to install is what is called the Watt Box. We're going to utilize that for the two-step, and we also got the nitrous controller add-on, so we're going to be able to control the nitrous as well. So I'm going to take you, I haven't seen, I searched and searched YouTube for you know, the Watt Box install on a Dodge, a Hemi, whatever. I could not find any. All I found were like Mustangs and Hyundais, and a majority of those were stick shift cars, not automatic cars. So hopefully, if you're looking for a cheaper two-step than the Stage 6 and the harness that comes with the Stage 6, that's expensive. This was like $200, $220. I'll put the price up here, and then the nitrous controller was another 50 or 60 bucks, I think. I'll put the prices up here and let you know exactly how much they are. And the only thing is it does take a little bit of wiring for the Hemi cars. So Mac has done a couple of these before. He's doing it his way, so there could be other ways of doing this. I haven't seen any. I haven't done any research on the forums, so there may be something out there on the forums about the Watt Box install on a Hemi. But what the biggest difference we're doing that I didn't see in any of the other videos of the other cars or makes of cars is that Mac built a wiring harness to hook up to the Watt Box, and it hooks up to each one of the coil packs. All the other ones on the other cars I've seen, they've hooked up into either one of the wires from the PCM, or they hooked up through the ignition fuse in the fuse box. So we're not doing that. Mac hasn't done that and hasn't seen it done before on a Hemi, so we're sticking with what we know works, and that's what we're gonna do. So here's a quick look. All right, I know it looks like a jumble of wires, but I promise you it's not. And it's all shrink wrapped, and it's also all soldered together, right? So each one of these, it loops. So this is the loop around. This loops around the engine, and then each one of these offshoots goes to one of the coils, and then it hooks into the Watt Box, which is probably going to go somewhere back in there. But if it goes somewhere different, you'll see it on the install. I'm going to go step by step, show y'all how to do this, which wires to hook into, you know, where to ground. I'm going to stick mine in the glove box. You know, you can put it anywhere you want. I'm just going to put it in the glove box, and we'll go from there. So like I said, I'm going to take you step by step, and we're not going to miss anything. And then we'll get the final step on the brake and the test, and hopefully we get a little get that two-step to work. The second part of this, I'm also going to leave it in this video, so this one's going to be a long one. Also going to do the nitrous controller, because what we're going to do is bring the nitrous in later, not off the wide open throttle right off the bat. We're going to bring it in somewhere in the 4,000 or 5,000 range RPMs. So we're going to run it off RPMs and bring it in about 4,000 or 5,000. So that's the rundown. I already spoke for 5 minutes, so I'm going to try and keep this as short as possible, but I want you guys to see each and every step, because again, I haven't seen this install on YouTube.
What we're doing here is we're stripping back wires. We're cutting the brown and the yellow. I know, I don't know if he mentioned it in his video, but I did this on my other car, and it was the same for 2009. And with his being a 15, I'm going to assume that this will be the same on yours too if you're using this as a guide. So this is one of the steps. The next step after I trim all these will be to loop this around and just put some heat shrink over it and get it out of the way. And that's where we'll be at. And the next step from there would be to trim these back, and we're going to add something which you'll see probably in the next clip, and it'll all start to make sense.
The wire harness that I showed you earlier.
Okay.
Yeah, I already showed him the wire harness.
So that's where we're at.
All right, so that's where we're at. Step one, cut all the wires. The ones coming from the car get bent over, taped up in case you have to use them again. And then the ones from the plug is where the harness that I showed you earlier, that's where the harness plugs into. And then that goes into the watt box. So I'll keep you in the loop.
I'll show you this all the way up. See how it's cutting it nice? Mm-hmm. So what that does,
as you just peel it back.
Yeah. You just got to be careful that
you don't cut the wires.
Yeah, I mean, I cut the brown one a little bit, so I wasn't being too careful, but
we're going to cut the brown one.
I'm cutting that anyway. Yeah, so normally with these, you want to keep it right above. So like the points up there, and you can use it to split things. So what this is this is just a seam breaker.
Yep.
So you can get these for like cheap, like $2 off Amazon, but it's great for getting things started safely. And normally I wouldn't go all the way up. I was just doing it as demonstration purposes, but pretty cool stuff. Makes life a little easier. Tools do matter.
Right tool, right job.
Yep.
So, yeah, so this is the harness that he made, and it's gonna go to these wires coming from the plug. So the wires coming from the plug, these will go to the wires coming from the plug. And then we're gonna steal the signal for the red wire. I'm pretty sure it's the red wire. We'll double check with Mac. The red wire out to the watt box. All right, so here y'all can see we got it all hooked up. The blue and yellow wires you leave alone. This one's blue and orange. That one's blue and yellow. This one's blue and yellow.
Whatever,
whatever. Just stick with the brown wires. All right, boom, 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 boom. And then what's going to happen is we're going to do the other side just like this. We'll probably tape it up later, and then this will get interrupted with the red wire, and then this one coming off this last one, and this is the brown wire going into the car, not into the coil pack, into the car. This one will go into the orange wire. Correct?
The wires that we are currently doing are going to go into the orange one.
All right, so this one will go to the orange wire.
And then the one
this
wire
one
that's left
will go to the red. All right, I had it backwards. So this one goes into the orange.
Backwards like that switch.
This one goes in to the red. And yes, I have my nitrous on and off switch backwards, but we're going to fix that too. Once all of this is wired, I know it's kind of hard to see, but everything is wired on the engine. We go through the huge grommet, which goes through just behind the glove box.
Yes.
Or right by the glove box. Hang on, I'll show you. You can see our little wire puller right there. It comes in right behind the glove box, up in there. I know it's hard to see, but up in there, comes down here, and then we're gonna mount the watt box either here, up under here, once we replace the panel we took out, or stuff it in the glove box, one or the other. We're not 100% sure yet. And we'll get to the rest of the wires in a minute. All right, so now we're back to the red, the orange, the black, and the blue. Green wire is going, we'll get to the green wire in a few minutes, but the red wire goes into the coil wire we left unwrapped.
From the OEM harness.
From the OEM harness.
It's in the harness.
Yeah, we've been working hard, man. It's getting late.
It's in the weenus of the car.
And then the orange wire plugs into the harness itself.
That we made.
The blue wire goes to pin 39, right?
On C1, I believe.
On C1. Well, I'll double check that. Don't quote me on the pin number. And then the green wire.
We still have to check, but we need to make sure it works. But the green wire is going to go to the BCM.
The green wire is going to go to the brake light sensor wire on the BCM. So we'll show you that here in a little bit. But we're going to test this stuff first to make sure it works. And then we're going to hook it up to the BCM. So we'll be back. So correction on the blue wire. The blue wire goes to pin 92 in C1 of the PCM. So pin 92, it's a brown wire with a white stripe.
If it works.
If it doesn't work, I'm not putting this in the video. And I'll be back with the right one. Good.
All right, so I depinned this one. I cut the casing of the wire back.
The brown wire with the white stripe.
And we wired in the blue wire.
Wired in the blue wire from the watt box.
And now heat shrink will go over this, and then everything will get taped back up.
So. And hook back up to the PCM. And then we're gonna do a little bit of testing first, and then we're gonna wire the green wire, which is the switch wire, to the brake light sensor wire on the BCM, which is pin 39. Yeah. It's a white wire with a green stripe.
I've done this on my car, but it was in 09.
We'll get there.
All right, folks. I don't know if y'all can see that, but this is the white and green wire on the gray. It's got
F plug. It's marked F.
It's got an F plug, but if you notice, this one's black and this one's gray. If you hit this little guy here, this will slide out easier to give you a little more access, but I just peeled that back, and then the green wire's going to that. If you see this video, it means it worked.
And it's pin 39.
Yeah, it's actually labeled 39.
And it's labeled actually on the BCM. I think that's the only one they...
No, on the white wire, it says 30, or the white cage that this slides into,
right.
It says 39 on the cage.
So there you go.
And on the gray part, it has 39 and then an arrow pointing over. So it actually...
So there's a bunch of indications to tell you what wire to tie into. So if this works, this will be in the video. If it doesn't, I don't know what we're going to do.
Yeah. Sounds good. The tires themselves are not moving at all.
Bean, tell him, boy, tell him what's up. All right, there's Indigo. Indigo, what you doing, girlie? All right, that's enough of Bean and Indigo. So I'm gonna wrap this up real quick to make sure we're all on the same sheet of page, same page, because I know I did do a couple different things, and one of them I think I had wrong. So first thing you need to do is make the little wiring harness, I'll call it a wiring harness, for the 8 coil packs. Okay, one connection to each coil pack on that harness. That harness connects to the orange wire from the watt box. The red wire from the watt box we tied into one of the injectors to get the power. Okay, we hooked into one of the injectors. The blue wire we hooked into the PCM C1, the C1 connection, and that connection has the fewest number of wires, right? So you have one on top, one on bottom, and it's the one on top, and it has the fewest connections into it. The bottom one has a lot of connections into it. The top one only has a lot less. And that pin number is 92. It's a brown wire with a white stripe. You're gonna have to do some searching to get the schematic, but it's the brown wire with a white stripe that hooks into number 92. So that's your APP1 accelerator pedal position 1 sensor. Okay, that's the blue wire. Oh, the yellow wire is the one that goes to the injector. The green wire we hooked into the BCM, the body control module, connection F. And what's nice about the BCM is it's actually labeled so you can see. You go into the BCM, you unhook the letter F connector. There's a black one and a gray one. The wire you're looking for is number 39. You're looking for 39. It's a yellow wire with a green stripe, and that's the brake light sensor. Okay, so that's a kind of on off. Either the brake light's on or the brake light's off. You tap into that wire for your signal wire. We tapped into that for our signal wire. For you stick guys, there's a clutch signal in the PCM that you can use as your signal wire. But for us automatic guys, we found this to be the easiest way to kind of tie in. It took us a while to find it, but the easiest way to tie in and the easiest way to get a brake on and off signal, other than using the pedal. We didn't want to put a bunch of wires underneath the pedal, so we tried to stay away from that. That's why we went with the BCM and the brake light sensor, and it works perfect. Y'all heard it. So, and the black one is just a ground. Wherever you can find a good body ground, hook it up to the ground. So that's the 5 wires and the wiring harness. So a total of 13 connections, right, to get done. So I just wanted to make sure I was 100% clear with the right connection, the right pin numbers, and the right wire colors for you guys. So in case you want to do this, you at least know what connections to make. But that's going to do it for this one. I'm going to go back to the video. Alrighty folks, so y'all saw that. That's the Watt Box install, and I'm telling you, this video is probably 10 minutes long, 10 to 15 minutes long. It took us about 4 hours, 5 hours to really work through everything and get it right. So don't expect that this is an easy install. It's definitely not an easy install, not for the faint of heart. So if you're thinking about the Watt Box and getting it done, think long and hard before you do it. It is cheaper than some of the harness ones that are plug and play out there, like Stage 6. Stage 6 is pretty expensive, but it does the exact same thing. But like I said, if you're gonna do the Watt Box, it's not for the faint of heart, because guarantee it's gonna take you a while. But at least you got the major pieces. I didn't go over every little nitnoid thing in the video, but the major pieces is you do the wiring harness, you harness that in. You heard the other wires. I can't remember what pin numbers. It's like almost midnight now, so I can't remember the pin numbers and the colors, but you can go back to the video, see that, where they go, how we have them hooked up. Now, someone else may have a better idea to hook up that watt box, but that's just how we did it. It works. Y'all heard it, y'all saw it, you heard it in the beginning, and you heard it here towards the end. Hey, it works. So not sure if we're gonna hit the track this weekend. We'll see. We got some other things we're gonna try and fix before we go to the track. We may try and just go all boost only because we didn't have time to hook up the nitrous controller, which we may do next time. But that's it for this one, folks. If you're stopping in for the first time, please check out the rest of the channel. If you like what's going on, do them things. Like, subscribe, smash the bell, shoot me a comment, share it on your social media. I'll definitely appreciate it. Shake and Bake will definitely appreciate it because every red penny from YouTube goes right back into Shake and Bake, and some of that goes back into Mac's pocket too. That's it for this one. Adios.